coming on to the next is the three important economic systems, as I said. These are command economy, capitalism, and the blend of command economy and capitalism. We call this as mixed economy. To begin with, the very first one, command economy. Simply said, under a command economy, government decides. Government decides what should be produced, what should not be produced, how much quantity should be produced, who is to get how much. That means how it is to be allocated. So first thing is what is to be produced and what not to be produced. The second is how much to be produced. And the third is how it has to be allocated, who gets how much. So three things to be the basis for command economy. Good examples of command economy are Cuba, North Korea. Now these are the economies that flourish on the basis of communism or socialism, which are commonly used to describe an economy like that. Now, when I say the case of, let's say talk about the case of Cuba again, as we already discussed the example of plastic surgery, for the government of Cuba, plastic surgery is no more a priority. What is the priority? Sugar production. Now, for sugar production, what is required? Tractors. How many tractors to hire? How many tractors to be given to individual farmers? Government would be deciding the allocation. Government would be deciding the amount of tractors that has to be brought. Now, with this tractor, how much sugar is to be produced? Of that sugar, how much sugar should go into rum production? How much sugar would be internally consumed? How much sugar would be exported? How much rum would be internally consumed? How much rum would be exported? So all of those are dependent on one another. So tractors, if they are hired and if there is no production, tractors are of no use. If a lot of sugar is produced and no rum is exported, sugar production and rum export are interlinked. So we need to understand that even when there is a command economy, the things in an economy are always interlinked. We cannot understand one thing in isolation with another thing. Another important thing with the command economy is, since all of those phenomena that we are talking are interrelated, we need to understand that the person who is involved in either of the activities would be earning something. Who would determine how much a person earns? So, wage rate. Wages is the earning for the work which is done. So, wage rate is again determined by the government. Now, government relies on what? Government relies on two important things. One is the computers and the supercomputers who would decide the proper allocation, who is to get how much. The other is the bureaucracy who would at the ground level execute that the things that are being explained are actually being administered. So all of this thing, all of this burden would be taken care by the government itself, and therefore we call this as a command economy. Command economy has numerous benefits. What are the benefits? The first important benefit is that there is equal allocation of resources. Whosoever wants what would be given that parcel of requirement. The second important thing is there is equal income. There is no disparity. If the government wants a teacher, a doctor, a sweeper, every one of them would have the same pay scale. So there is no income disparity that exists. Also, those who wish to work hard can get incentives. So if I am a doctor, I can devote 5 hours extra, I can earn for those 5 extra hours. If I am a teacher, I can devote 5 hours extra, I can earn for those 5 hours. So based on my hard work, the remuneration would be there. And therefore, incentives are an important part of command economy. So, command economy, we say there is no division or discrimination. No rich, no poor that exists. No lower class, no upper class that exists. All of them are at the same level. One of the major benefits of a command economy. So, disparity in the economy is not there. Income is equally distributed. Those who perform better, those who are ready to work hard would get the incentives accordingly. Also, government can prioritize. If the government feels that education is a requirement, government can make the textbooks extremely cheap and provide free education to everyone. On the other hand, government feels that we are one of the largest producers of sugar, but rum is not a good thing, alcohol consumption is not a good thing, so probably we should go for all the alcohol that is being produced to be exported, and there should be no local consumption. So so the alcohol consumption would be made extremely expensive, so that none of the population is able to purchase it, and therefore ultimately what would happen, they are left with no other option, so the consumption would reduce and the country would export and earn from it. So government can decide on all the things, and therefore benefit and welfare of the common people can be addressed. However, one major disadvantage that exists with command economy is that any new business options are discouraged. The government wants to function as it functions. Any new ventures, new options, new opportunities are not promoted. As simple as that. So that's one of the major disadvantage of command economy. But when I say Cuba and North Korea are command economies, I previously mentioned that we cannot say they are 100% command economies. There are certain gaps in the decision making process. How do they exist? They exist because of underground economies and household economies. How does that happen? Let's say I am one household and my neighbor is another household. So we do certain trade between us. So that trade can be anything, and it does not fall under the ambit of the government dictated rules. So this is a deviation from the command economy. So we are trespassing, we can say, the command economy at that point.